The Celtics players make most of their moves during the regular season, but Danny Ainge usually saves most of his moves for the offseason. Now, Danny, before we go in and talk about the moves you're going to make during the offseason, let's talk about the regular season and what those players did on the court. How excited were you about the 15-game leap that these guys made in the win column?
It was fun. I enjoyed this group of guys. I enjoyed their competitiveness. I enjoyed their hunger, and you know, we had some really exciting moments of the season, and you know, going 19-6 to finish the season, I thought was very exciting. It was fun for our fans. It was the Garden was rejuvenated, and having a playoff series in there was exciting.
Why were they able to go 19-6 and 24-12 over the last 2.5 months? What was the key?
I think that you know, they were hungry, and we were fairly healthy. We had some injuries throughout the course of the year, but we had good depth, and I think that depth with a difficult schedule carried us.
How unique was this season, both for the team and for you in the front office?
Well, it was unique. I think we had some pretty good expectations because we had you know, a decent team to start the year. We knew that we were going to be sort of a middle-of-the-road type of team, not a team that was contending, but not a team that could fall all the way to the bottom. And but our expectations were higher than we started out. And so when we made the trades, we just felt like we needed to move a different direction. And so we did anticipate that we would take a little bit of a step backwards, but in fact we didn't. We got better as the season went on, and you know, you got to give a lot of credit to Brad, because keeping this team together and keeping all the guys happy that were coming from new situations or coming from old teams and coming into a new situation, and without a lot of practice time. You know, our March and April schedules were pretty hectic, and without much practice, these guys found a way to get wins.
How do you think Brad was able to hold the group together during that time frame and so many bodies coming in and going out?
I don't know. I mean, other than he's smart, and he's a fairly calm guy, and I think he has a level head on his shoulders, and he just kept the mood in a good place, and he gave everybody an opportunity to play.
Whose development were you most excited about, just from the young group that you have on this team this season?
Well, I think Marcus, because Marcus is the youngest of the group, and had the most question marks coming into the year. But I was most excited about Marcus's development. Although I saw development in every one of our young players. You know, it was fun to see that Marcus made a name for himself and is a player that we know is an NBA player and can help you, not just a player that can play, but a player that can help you win.
And Marcus and several other guys, they played really well in the playoffs. I mean, against the Cavs, obviously 3 straight 8-point losses to end the series, but how important is it to you when you see guys, and not just your guys on this team, but maybe free agents to be, maybe guys going into the NBA draft, how important is it when you see those guys step up in the moment, maybe in the NCAA tournament or the NBA playoffs?
I think it is important. I think but I think that most of the guys that we're looking at, players that are NBA draftees, and you know, NBA players in general, have all played in big moments. They've been basketball players their whole lives, and most of them are not afraid of the big moments.
Who's the guy in your team that you see has that in him? He steps up, he wants the ball in the final moments.
I think all of them do. I mean, in honesty, they all, like I said, they've all played in big games. I've watched Kelly Olynyk and Avery Bradley and, you know, Jay Crowder, right on down the line, Marcus Smart, James Young. I've seen Tyler Zeller. Every one of those guys have played in a lot of big games in their lifetime, and they've all played well and have responded. Not every time, of course, but they thrive in those situations.
And looking forward into this offseason, obviously there's a lot of space that you have on the cap. You've got a lot of assets to move around with. As a general manager, when you look at this and you look at the offseason, how do you prioritize executing moves this offseason versus potentially waiting for another offseason when some other big names are potentially coming onto the market? How do you prioritize when you do certain things?
Well, what we've tried to do is we've tried to put ourselves in the game to have those options and to have some opportunities to make big moves. And so I guess that if they're big moves that we like, we do them. If they're big moves that we're not in love with, then we hold off and we wait. So Those are the challenging ones. Some of them are very easy to determine, and some are very challenging and take a lot of investigation and thought and debate and discussion on our side. But I think that you can't just determine that you're going to wait or you're going to do. It all depends on what those opportunities. An example of that would be when KG and Ray came available to us. We were in the game, and we had an opportunity to do something quick and something special. When James Harden came available, we weren't. We didn't have the assets. We didn't have the opportunity to get in that game. So just because we have assets, just because we have young players, just because we have draft picks and we have cap space, it means that if there's one of those situations that come available, it just means that we have an opportunity. It doesn't mean that there's any guarantee that something like that will happen. So we want to stay in the game until we can do something significant.
All right, well, Danny Ainge obviously was busy during the regular season. Sounds like he could be busy during the offseason as well, through the draft and possibly trades or acquiring players through free agency. So make sure you stay tuned here on Celtics.com for all of your latest news. Danny Ainge, thanks for joining us, and good luck this offseason.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.